Welcome. Now, in this module, we're going to take a look at Risk Management and Internal Audit Part 2. And there are 3 lines of cyber defense, an excellent article, and you can take a look at the URL listed on the screen and read this article in detail. Now, we were taking a look at this diagram from the article, which shows us that there's a first line of defense for information security, which is the business and IT functions, which actually implement the information security program, and this is called management control from business and IT functions. And this is the actual implementation of information security. The second line of defense is through the information technology risk management function. And now we're going to talk about the third line of defense, which comes from internal audit. And the functions or the roles and responsibilities for internal audit, as per this article, are independently assess program effectiveness, report risk management effectiveness to the board, comply with SEC requirements or government or regulatory requirements, and disclosure obligations related to cybersecurity risks. And given recent high-profile cyber attacks, as per this article, data losses and regulatory expectations, it is critical for internal audit to understand cyber risks and be prepared to address the questions and concerns raised by the audit committee and the board. So that's the third line of defense, internal audit. Now, internal audit, the third line of defense. The third line of defense is internal audit. It may also include input from external auditors, especially in the banking sector, and or regulators. This function, sometimes termed independent assurance, evaluates the overall process of cyber risk governance for the entire organization as a third layer. It ensures that the organization's internal control framework is adequate for dealing with the risks the organization faces. As with the second line of defense, the third line can push back on the assertions on the previous lines regarding the adequacy and effectiveness of the controls in place. This function usually reports directly to the board or the audit committee. And these are the issues with internal audit in Pakistan. First of all, internal audit, unfortunately, the people, the personnel, they usually don't belong to the traditional conventional IT, and they're really not on the same page. And the trend is that internal audit is so isolated from the actual ground realities, and they will go to the internet or they will read books or different resources and get a long list of templates and observations which have no correlation or no connection with the actual IT and the business objectives. So the internal audit observations, while the internal audit is performed or while an internal audit report is generated, internal audit assessment is generated on IT or on the risk function, they are so isolated and so far away from the actual realities. So even if you fix all of the internal audit observations resulting from an internal audit assessment, you still don't improve the security posture of the organization. The key performance indicator seems to be highest number of observations in internal audit in Pakistan, not the organizational benefit. So the tuning of or the mindset of the internal audit department in Pakistan usually is that if we go out and do an audit of IT function and we have 500 observations, then the internal audit will look really good. But there's no real thinking that are these observations, if they are fixed, are they going to help to improve the security posture? And it becomes very difficult for IT to fix those internal audit observations because they're usually very busy with their own work. And then there is no common security vision in the organization. So compliance, risk, information security, and internal audit or IT audit are all after IT, and IT is very busy, and compliance, risk, information security, and audit functions are all on a separate, isolated island, thinking about their own way how to implement security. And they come and talk different languages to IT. IT is already very busy, doesn't have the capacity to entertain 4 different frameworks, 4 different languages, 4 different types of mechanisms or ways how to implement security. And so there is no common security vision in the organization, and that makes it even more difficult in organizations in Pakistan and the region to implement an effective information security program. That's all that we have for this module. Thank you.